evening and welcome to the show. I am the Boozy Pundit. It is debate week. The final debate, which was supposed to be a foreign policy debate. I'm trying out a new format this time so I can get better audio. We'll see how this turns out. So I'm sitting a little closer and I've figured out how to use the mic better and turned up the mic. On the device itself, I think that's might be what the issue was with, let's say, less than optimal audio so far. Anyway, so it is a very interesting week. I'm kind of taking a break right now from actively posting on Facebook today because you gotta take a break every so often. Things get too crazy. It gets to a certain critical mass of talking past each other from the two sides that it's depressing. So I need to recalibrate. And then also there's been a jihad against me for talking too much about the Hunter Biden story. So, so there's been the Biden acolytes on Facebook are working to suppress anyone talking about the suppression of the Biden story. Which is pretty ironic to me. Even if I were to say, hey, guys, I would just like to talk about the social media aspect and the fact that Facebook and Twitter blocked the accounts of people sharing a news story. Now, this aspect to me is, let's say, more meaningful. It's more interesting because this is something I've been covering for a while in terms of wondering, the question of should social media are they platforms or are they publishers? Are they neutral platforms where kind of free speech reigns other than blatant hate speech, they let it go? Or are we into a situation where they're kind of a publisher making editorial decisions? Is Facebook now the Atlantic? Okay, here's the media that we would like to promote, and no, this story is inconvenient for our political ends, so we're gonna cancel this. So this cancel culture has gotten all the way down now into major media stories. People are sort of setting their hair on fire, angry about anyone talking about the Hunter Biden issue. Meanwhile, it's continuing to come up. And they're finally getting around. First 2-3 days was just hair on fire, lightning rage of anyone to talk about. You're talking about this too much! How can you be talking about this? Okay, chillax. It's a news story, and this is Facebook, and this is my wall. So, kindly fuck off, first of all. Anyway, I'm going to take a break and grab a beer. Welcome back to the show. I hope you are enjoying your evening as much as I'm about to. My beverage of choice today is Modelo Negra. It's an excellent, let's say, not a highfalutin craft beer, obviously, more in the suds category. My dad considers anything that's, less than a Harpoon IPA, basically suds. He's British, so that's slang for, Budweiser. But this is a Negra, so it's a little darker. It's got a little more substance to it. When I went to vacation in Cancun, this ended up being the beverage of choice. It's a good, sturdy lager, I guess, right? Is this considered a lager? Yes. Medium-bodied lager. Anyway, bottoms up. Okay, now where was that? So the title of today's show is The Empire Swamps Back. Because that is what's happening today. The latest development in the Hunter Biden situation is that, there was a news story out today that now everyone is, first of all, the context is Biden is now hiding. Is, he did a lid for 4 days. This, basically, after this story came out a day or two later, was the initial firestorm and media blackout. His media, patrons are doing everything they can, and so today they scrambled and came up. We found a letter. 50 people, 50 anti-Trumpers wrote a letter saying that this must be Russian disinformation. So that is now the new battle cry. These Biden materials are. Now, first of all, if they would just calm down and let this go, the story would be over, but there's just so much, shrieking and caterwauling. Oh, my God! And now we must scramble to, it's basically Saul Alinsky tactics, right? It's just isolate and undermine, and don't deal with it. Just get angry, isolate, make it seem gaslight, make it seem like the people who are saying this are the crazy ones. We're not gonna like even take this on. We're just gonna deny it. We're gonna use as evidence the fact that our media patrons are not covering it as evidence that the story is not legitimate, right? It's kind of a nice. Elegant circular logic there. You actually had people from the Biden campaign pointing to the fact that Twitter had blocked the story as evidence of the story being untrue. And of course, that's not why Twitter did it. It's kind of an evolving answer as to why Twitter did that. Facebook kind of had a different thing, and they got a stay of execution today as far as being hauled before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Lindsey Graham voted to, or there's a delay on the vote whether or not they're going to be hauled, which was probably helped by the fact that Jack Dorsey reversed himself on blocking the story. First, there was a muted apology. Yeah, we didn't handle it great. And then like 24 hours, yeah, we shouldn't have been outright blocking URLs. Okay, but you're still blocking the press secretary. There's still like some weird blocking going on. It's just a mess now. And at first they were saying, oh, this was, dangerous to the community or some, there's a reverse engineered answer as to why they don't want it out there. And then they come up with, hey guys, let's go. They call it emergency meeting. Okay, let's come up with a reason that we don't want this story to come out. But now, what is our rationale going to be? It's instead of this was triggered some of our issues previously stated as community standards. Obviously, it's flagged. No, it's let's find a way to shoehorn this into a community standard violation. So I think the latest is that they are claiming it violates their policy on hacked material, which is kind of amusing in a few ways. First of all, if it's hacked, it's probably legitimate, right? It can't be fake and hacked. I just had someone laughably suggest, yes, actually, because I asked, one of the things I did post today was, do you both, because I saw a thread of people, gaslighting about this and talking about the Intel community and how they're poo-pooing it. And I said, do you believe that this is, the emails are fake or are they hacked? And I said, please don't say both. And someone's, both. I just said LOL and left. I was guilty of doing the laugh emoji. I didn't do the laugh emoji, but I just can't. You can't logically be leaked and hacked. So, in other words, the theory with that person is these were faked emails, then put on the hard drive, and then hacked into, like they got the password. They just can't be faked and hacked. And it's looking like they're real too. The more, these people are sticking their head in the sand so they wouldn't know, all the acolytes. That's the problem when you start to do the cancel. Like shouting down and canceling isn't really a way to bring yourself up to speed with what the hell the story is. You're just blah blah blah, like Dumb and Dumber. La 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 la. I don't want to talk about it. And now all of a sudden they're willing to talk about it. They got their shit together. And they found 50 anti-Trump people from the Intel community with no evidence asserting that it must be Russian disinformation, which is, pretty entertaining because, well, the Steele dossier, which actually has now been proven to be Russian disinformation, the primary subsource was like a guy from the Kremlin. This was an election interference funded by the Democrats and carried forth by all of their, hacks like John Brennan. Now they're turning to, well, gee, John Brennan says that this must be Russian disinformation. Oh, how convenient. And so then we go back to the Twitter standard of it being hacked material, supposedly. So it's hacked material, but we're also, so half of the people are saying it's fake, but others are saying, well, it's hacked. These are actually real, but we don't want them out. It's damaging that they were out there. We don't want damaging leaked information that's unauthorized, they say. Well, wait a minute. What about, Romney's 47%? What about the Trump tax return story? Literally any number of anti-Trump things that were leaked. Anything from the intelligence community. If you piss them off, they basically leak you to death. And so that's been the main driver of a lot of news stories. So suddenly they've invented this new standard that no, anything that might be unauthorized, we're not going to block. I wonder if they're going to retroactively go back and block everything to do with, basically anything to do with Russia collusion. That was 3 years of media-driven hype and puffery. Oh my God, the evidence of there being wrongdoing is that we're writing about this. Look. And they literally used like op-eds to get FISA warrants. When they couldn't lie, they used like Nicholas Kristof op-eds, another circular logic thing. And Kristof said, well, look, I was speculating. But that is what the standard, they feed on itself. So we just wasted 3 years dealing with collusion. And now the same people are back to tell us that this must be fake. And their reaction to everyone to this story tells me that maybe Biden isn't as strong as we all think he is. I would say I was surprised by the freaking out, because to me it looks like he's coasting to victory. Well, maybe just everyone's just so intense about this, And I just voted for Joe Jorgensen, the Libertarian candidate. So, I guess I'm fine with taking myself out of the heart of the action right now, because it is true I don't super particularly like hair on fire care either way. But I've always been animated by this Russiagate bullshit, because I don't think this is healthy for a democracy. I don't think that you want this going forward. For example, right now, Trump is pushing for a special counsel to investigate Biden over the Hunter Biden emails. So kind of returning the favor. Let's have the new standard in this banana republic system is the outgoing administration investigates the incoming. I mean, turnabout is fair play. This is exactly what Obama did, it turns out, with Comey and everything else. But, of course, you point that out. With the gaslighting goes all the way back to that still. No, none of that even happened. Your average liberal won't concede word one. No, probably still reported. It hasn't been disproven. The Rachel Maddow standard for the longest time. Well, look, it's not looking good for the Steele dossier, but it hasn't been disproven yet. She's supposedly a smart person. That's a double negative. That you can't prove a negative. It's not only a double negative, but it's sort of a legal concept. You cannot prove a negative. When was the last time you stopped beating your wife? Kind of thing. But now, lo and behold, that standard of hasn't been disproven disappears when it comes to when the shoe's on the other foot, in a very similar manner. So we've got hypocrisy all over the place. We've got anger. Shit is going down. The debate this week, they're gonna mute Trump. And let me talk about the debate in a second. I'm definitely looking forward to this debate coming up. And they're gonna mute mostly Trump, probably. Now, the debate commission has been kind of through the mill lately. They canceled the second debate, which kind of worked out pretty well, because it turns out the moderator was like in the tank for Biden, and he lied about it. Steve Scully or whatever, some guy from C-SPAN, old fogey type, wasn't clear on how Twitter worked and thought he was sending a direct message, but put out a live tweet. He was trying to coordinate debate questions with Steve Scaramucci, the guy who was Trump's head of communications for like 24 hours and got. Sorry, I lost the video there for a second. As I was saying, Steve Scaramucci, the disgraced communications director, was fired. Got the apprentice treatment. Ya fired. And I'm sure he had something. And then he has since appeared on other things. And, he's not totally against Trump, but this was someone that it would have been embarrassing for it to come out that the debate moderator, who was supposedly objective, was coordinating with a guy who was fired by one of the candidates recently. So then he lied. That's what people do now. They gaslight. No, you're crazy that you thought that. I was hacked. Everything's hacked now. And then suddenly, like a week before, actually the day of, or like a day or two before, the The debate was supposed to be... CNN fired this dude, Steve Scully, that no one has ever heard of, because he fucking lied. He admitted he lied about that. And so, look, that's just one anecdote as to why the debate commission is compromised. But, you know, no one's really under the illusion that it was particularly fair. If it's part of the media establishment or the establishment in general, it's definitely going to be anti-conservative or anti-Republican, but then you throw Trump in the mix, and then it's like another 25% anti. You know, because this is the thing. It's not even a partisan issue, left or right, Democrat, Republican, when it comes to Trump. That's what the deep state refers to. The deep state is not a conspiracy. It's institutional inertia. Careerists, bureaucrats, people who have been in government sort of this whole time, years, decades. Every time a new president comes in, you don't disband the government. You largely keep in place most people who were at their job. And, you know, it stands to reason that there's a prevailing mentality. That's what Colonel Vindman was. That's the guy who ended up being the whistleblower. He essentially had a foreign policy difference with Trump. I don't think this is what you're supposed to be doing. Well, that's not your fucking job. You're a functionary. But so we sat through a whole impeachment. That was the effort after the whole collusion gate collapsed. So, and these people are like double, tripling down and Saul Alinsky tactics now. And this is now Russian disinformation, but it's hacked. Someone hacked Russian disinformation out of Biden's computer. And then meanwhile there's pictures, there's like emails, there's things that make him look good. Or Biden look good. And by the way, none of this necessarily means Biden is like on the hook that much. I mean, so, like Dinesh D'Souza says, you know, the scheme was every time Biden would go somewhere, he would take one of his sons with him. And while Biden was having official meetings, the son would have unofficial meetings. And, you know, there'd be a bag of cash, essentially, somewhere exchanged. You know, who knows? That's probably very difficult to prove. And I'm sure Biden is, you know, has enough plausible deniability that you're not going to necessarily be able to nail him on that, and kind of everyone does it. That's why I don't know why they just didn't come out and go, well, yeah, it's very unfortunate that this mudslinging had to happen. And yes, those do appear to be his, but, you know, what does it prove? Instead, there's sort of a just absolute, like, lightning anger rage disseminates through anyone who's a Biden fan at this point. They send out email blasts or something. Your mom, your sister, everyone is like angry. Oh my God, you're not doing what we want. The shaming, you know, they got every cheesy trick in the book. They'll shame you. They'll whine. They'll complain you're talking about it. You know, I had people complaining, oh my God, you're posting about this too much. And I went back over my wall. I'm like, well, no, I'm posting about other things. Those aren't the things that end up being of interest. So maybe that's not, you know, these people don't even understand how Facebook works. That people are commenting means that they are interested. So, and they see that I'm responsible for posting it, so somehow I'm the bad guy. That I'm conducting an interesting, intriguing discussion means I'm the jerk. Gotta love that. And so you have people. So this is to me in the category of personal attacks. Here I am trying to talk about the issue, and I get people, well, here's my problem. It has nothing to do with the issue. I have a problem with you. I'm like, well, what do you want to take it outside? I mean, in real life, I could probably fucking kick your ass. But, you know, so I don't even know where you're going with this. That's the frustrating thing. If I feel like I can kick your ass in real life, and then you're like getting personal with me, I'm just going to like let you off the hook and say, I don't think you want to get personal. Can you fucking please circle back to the goddamn substance? But that's, you know, that's not really the bailiwick of liberals. It's Saul Alinskyism. It's through and through in their head. It's clear to me now. They just want to attack the person. They want to attack the messenger. That's so. You say something critical about Obama. Here's the standard formula. Obama was overrated. Then Obama fan. You are a terrible person. well, wait a minute. We're talking about a public figure or a news story, and now you're like getting intimate with me. Like, do you want to square off? Really? Like, you suck too, buddy. Let's go ninth grade on this shit. No, no one wants to go there. Stop degrading the discourse with that bullshit. Ad hominem bullshit that's it. Bullshit. That means you can't argue the point. So you de facto lose the debate. Anyway, I would like to get this out there. I'm very excited about the next debate. I'm going to have hopefully one more. Before that, anyway, peace out. One more swag for the fans. Hasta luego. Bye.